Take a look.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hill Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community post, you already know the vibes. And I'm here with this SmackDown review. Now, first things first, before we get into this review, I have to do something very special. I have to ask you guys to do something special. First things first, acknowledge your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Second thing, thank The Rock for making wrestling cool again, for making it fun again, for making it must-see, all those cool things. Because in case you've been sleeping under a rock, in case you've been missing in action, in case you don't have Twitter or any forms of social media, The Rock posted a 21-minute video response to Cody Rhodes' challenge, as well as Seth Rollins, saying things, talking trash about The Rock. And in this video, he acknowledged the fact that he is not only the people's champion, but he's also a member of the board, which means he's the boss. Like he's above Triple H, the general managers, all these people. He's technically Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins' boss. And this message was to Seth Rollins as far as, him talking trash about The Rock and keeping The Rock's name out of his mouth. And he said he doesn't get out of Bloodline's business. That title might be going bye-bye, so there's that. Also, The Rock responded to Cody Rhodes and the Cody crybabies. And not only that, The Rock also addressed the whole Cody situation as far as him giving up his spot to The Rock. The Rock said that him and Cody had an agreement. Cody, switched up on him. He agreed to The Rock and Roman Reigns, and then at the press conference he switched up and said nah, he wanted to fight Roman Reigns for the title. And The Rock said he understood that Cody changed his mind. He just didn't like the way that Cody went about it, and talking about how the fact that Cody talked about Roman and The Rock's family and blah blah blah. So this leads us to this episode of SmackDown, which started off with the tribal chief, the head of the table, your Universal Champion as well as mine, Roman Reigns, with the Bloodline. They're coming out, and I think this was in Arizona, and Roman, did this typical thing. He had the ones up to the sky, and he wanted Arizona to acknowledge him. But there was an issue this week. Roman said that normally the acknowledgement is a lot louder. So he said, once again, acknowledge me. And the crowd acknowledged him, but it wasn't to Roman's liking. And you could see it in Roman's face. He's irritated. He's kind of ticked off at the fact that the acknowledgement isn't as loud as it normally is. So it said, I'm about to leave. I'm taking the Bloodline with me. So he had guys have one more chance, and he yelled at the top of his lungs, acknowledge me! And the crowd acknowledged him, but Roman's like, look, we're out of here. But before the Bloodline can leave, Paul was like, listen, we can't leave yet because he has to come out. And Roman's like, who? And Paul's like, The Rock. And you could kind of see it in Roman's face. Like, he's ready to leave. He did what he was obligated to do. Now show up to work. Come out for like 5 minutes and leave. Roman just looked irritated. So The Rock comes out, and the crowd's going crazy for The Rock. And Roman looks a little bothered by this. And The Rock, he's saying, finally, you guys' life has meaning, because finally he's back in Arizona. And the thing about Arizona is they're high for cocaine and meth use. And for some reason, Arizona cheered this louder than they acknowledged Roman Reigns. They're cheering for cocaine more than they're cheering for the Bloodline. I'm just saying, I don't know what Arizona has going on down there. Listen, it's okay. Just say no. But The Rock, he's talking trash, and he acknowledges Cody's challenge, and he said that's not how this works. It's not going to be The Rock and Cody one-on-one, because The Rock would simply mop the floor with him at WrestleMania. So he lays out the ultimatum. He says that there's a counter proposal, and the proposal is at WrestleMania Night 1 in the main event, he proposes Cody and his new best friend Seth freaking Rollins taking on the Bloodline in Roman and The Rock. And if Cody and Seth wins, then night 2, when it's coming to Cody and The Rock, it's going to be one-on-one, straight up, no Bloodline, no Jimmy, no Solo, no Paul, no Rock, no nobody. It's just going to be a straight up one-on-one match. But if The Rock and Roman win, then it's going to be Bloodline rules, which means anything goes. The Bloodline will be involved. I'm pretty sure all the Samoans are going to show up. He said The Rock's going to be on commentary. Jimmy's going to be the special guest ring announcer. Solo's going to sing the national anthem, which will be hilarious. Solo's face was funny this whole time. But that's the proposal. Take it or leave it. Next week, Rock and Roman are going to be in Dallas. He's calling out Seth and he's calling out Cody to hear their answers. So next week on SmackDown, we'll see if Cody and Seth accept. And I feel like they will, because they've really been doing a good job of building up this tag team match, building up this whole feud between the Bloodline and Cody, and now involving Seth and even Drew McIntyre, making his presence known, saying that, listen, this has nothing to do with you, Seth Rollins. Stay out of this, because if you start messing with the Bloodline, they're going to be all over here. They're going to interfere in his championship match, and he doesn't want that. And he's making a valid point. And another thing that really happened that really kind of took this Bloodline segment over the edge was The Rock was going to go for the thing where he says, if you smell, but before he could finish singing along with The Rock, Roman Reigns stopped him. He said, hold up, listen. You know I do anything for family, but I need you to do one thing for me. And that one thing was for The Rock to acknowledge Roman Reigns. And The Rock kind of had this look on his face like, nigga, what did you say to me? And The Rock actually did it. He actually acknowledged Roman Reigns as his tribal chief. And the segment closed out with the Bloodline all holding up the ones. And the Twitter conspiracy theorists are noticing that The Rock is actually holding up an L instead of a 1. They think, oh, The Rock's going to turn on Roman. I think what it is The Rock, his hands are just too big to, close, or his thumb has too much muscles in it to close or whatever. That's what I think it is, but I could be wrong. So this whole segment took up a good, I want to say 30, maybe 40 minutes of the SmackDown. And the thing that was annoying me, and apparently a lot of other people, was that there was continuous blackouts during this segment. And at first I thought it was my TV because it's raining over here in North Carolina. So I'm like, is it the weather? But apparently it wasn't. Fox kept blacking out this segment because apparently somebody had a Die Rocky Die sign in the crowd, so they just wanted to censor that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This was so annoying. But outside of that, this whole segment was good. Even though it was long, I could have had a little bit more. It could have been a little bit longer. It could have been the whole 2 hours of SmackDown. I would have been cool with it. But we do have more to talk about. And after this, we had a one-on-one match between Tiffany Stratton and Naomi. Now, unfortunately, because the Rock segment went over, they got the jobber entrance. They didn't really get to see, Naomi and Tiffany Stratton come out. And the match was kind of short, but for the time the match was good. And they acknowledged on commentary that, even though Tiffany Stratton's getting over with the people, the ladies in the locker room, they aren't really feeling her too much, because she's still a bad guy and blah, blah, blah. Tiffany Stratton ended up winning with the prettiest moonsault ever. That moonsault is clean, and she hits it clean every single time, and it really is the prettiest moonsault ever. Shout out to Tiffany Stratton. I kind of wonder what they're going to end up doing with Naomi because, I have a feeling they're going to do something, but what, I don't necessarily know. But we just got to give it time and see what's happening, because you are starting to see people online saying that she should have stayed with Impact, she should have stayed with TNA, and I'm like, it's only been a few weeks, man. Let's just see. After this, we had more women's action. We had the long-awaited tag team match between the Kabuki Warriors and Bayley and the returning Dakota Kai. She's back from her injury. She's back in action. And surely she's not going to betray Bayley at all. That's not going to happen. So as the tag team match is happening, Bayley's, she's doing her thing. She's taking on Asuka and Kyrie. And, they're starting to get the upper hand. But, Dakota, she's out there. She's got her hand stretched out. And she's reaching out for that hot tag. And I'm like, here it comes. Dakota is going to do what's right. Oh, my God. Who saw this coming? Dakota Kai actually turned heel. She was in cahoots with the Kabuki Warriors and EO this whole time. Who the hell saw this coming? This is a total surprise. Everyone was surprised. Nobody saw this coming at all. But yeah, man, Dakota is officially with the new Damage Control. They even have a new theme. It looked like, or it sounded like they had an updated theme. And it kind of sounded like the theme was in Japanese or whatever. So, there's that. But how can Bayley overcome these odds with Damage Control breathing down her beautiful neck? Only time will tell. And as Damage Control was making their way to the back, they ran into Jade Cargill. And she's talking with Nick Aldis. So Is she gonna sign with SmackDown? I hope so. I hope she does something because WrestleMania is right around the corner, and I want to see Jade Cargill, you know, finally do something. So after this, we have Braun Breaker come out. He's wrestling his second match on SmackDown. The long-awaited in-ring debut, the SmackDown debut of Zion Quinn, who I thought was fired months ago. This coward has me blocked on Twitter. But I'm like, well, surely he'll have a good long match. No, he did not. He lost to one single spear from Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is continuing to look dominant on the main roster. I'm liking him so far. And after this, we had a street fight between Carlito and Santos Escobar. And, you know, they had a little vignette before the match. And Santos is talking to Legado del Fantasma. And they're saying that Santos is the new emperor of Lucha Libre. Rey Mysterio is never coming back. We'll never see Rey Mysterio ever again. And I totally believe this because, you know, that's how this works. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So as this match is going on, the crowd is doing that normal thing where they chant, "We want tables." They even had a "We want apples" chant, and they got both tables and apples, and the crowd was like, "Hooray, tables and apples." This will certainly keep the doctors away. So as this match is going on, Carlito is doing this thing, but you had the Legado del Fantasma come out, and they're starting to put the beat down on Carlito. The LWO comes out, and they're all punching and they're fighting for a little bit. And as all this is happening, Legado is getting the upper hand on Carlito. And then out of nowhere, Rey Mysterio makes his triumphant return. It was so cool to see Rey Mysterio come out. And apparently he took a page out of the Hangman Adam Page school of, you know, crutches and selling and whatnot. Because he comes out with his crutches. Legado comes up to attack him. Rey's hitting with the crutches and everything. Santos and Rey fight for a little bit. Carlito comes in. He spits the apple in Santos' face. Rey hits the 619. Santos goes to a table. And Carlito wins. The LWO is back. And the only thing that's missing is Dragon Lee. I wonder where he is. But, you know, it's all good because happy days are here again. So after this, you go backstage. You have the New Catch Republic. We're talking to Nick Aldis. And they're talking about getting another shot at the Judgment Day for the tag team titles. And Nick Aldis talks about how him and Adam Pearce has something cooking up for the tag team division. And a lot of people are thinking that they're either going to split up the tag team titles. I don't know what this means, but, you know, only time will tell. But we also saw LA Knight, and the whole episode of SmackDown, he's been looking for AJ Styles. He finally comes across to Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis says, "Listen, AJ's not here. I know you're going to be looking for it, but he's not here." So this is ultimately building towards their match at WrestleMania. Speaking of more build to WrestleMania, you have Logan Paul making his return to SmackDown next week. And earlier in the night, you also had Grayson Waller and Austin Theory looking at the video of Randy getting knocked out by Logan Paul. Randy didn't take too kindly to this, so he says, I want to fight either one of y'all. And Grayson immediately throws Austin Theory under the bus. So the main event of this episode of SmackDown was Randy Orton taking on Austin Theory with Kevin Owens on commentary. All these things are awesome. Kevin Owens on commentary is always a hoot. And Randy just does Randy Orton things. He ended up getting the win when Austin Theory did that rolling flip-de-doo thing, and Randy reversed it into an RKO. 1, 2, 3. After the match, Kevin Owens hits Austin Theory with a Stone Cold Stunner. Randy and Kevin Owens celebrate after the match. So that was this week's episode of SmackDown. It was mostly dominated by the Bloodline in that one segment, but that one segment was the absolute best part of SmackDown. And you also had the Dakota Kai heel turn and the return of Rey Mysterio. So the road to WrestleMania is looking better and better each episode of Raw and SmackDown, each day, each week. I'm excited for WrestleMania, and I can't wait to see what happens next week on SmackDown. But with that being said, guys, what did you think of this week's episode of SmackDown? Did you watch The Rock's 21-minute video? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Be easy. I'm out. Peace.